Hi folks, welcome to the Free Press Blue Bomber Report. I'm sports editor Steve Lyons, columnist Paul Wiecek. Paul, the Bombers have now won 5 games in a row. They play the Saskatchewan Roughriders again on Saturday at 2 p.m. here at IGF in the Banjo Bowl. Looking at the off-season of the Bombers, they signed a bunch of free agents, and a lot of them are going to now be in the lineup. Dressler and Ryan Smith look to be in the lineup this weekend. Who's been the best off-season free agent signing for your dollar, though?
Well, you know, what's interesting, right, is the guy that got all the headlines, or at least most of them, was, of course, Weston Dressler, right? That was such a big move, long-time Saskatchewan Roughrider, got him here, everything else. He's going to be the solution, the deep threat that Drew Willie needed, all of those things. But it hasn't, you know, he's been hurt a fair bit, and it hasn't really been him who's had the big impact. Of course, it's been Justin Medlock on special teams. He's making them at an 86% clip right now. He's just 8% off his all-time record, 87.2%. So he is picked up right where the Bombers needed him to go. And then, of course, Andrew Harris. I mean, that running game, that dimension of a running game that the Bombers have now, they not only didn't have last season, they haven't had in this town for years. It has been such a huge part of that offense, and it's made Matt Nichols and everybody else more effective because of it. So Harris and Medlock, for my money, by far the most effective free agents.
Okay, so we have the Banjo Bowl. The game is sold out, so it'll be a crazy, wild group of fans here. Is the Banjo Bowl as big as the Labor Day Classic now?
You know, not this year, I don't think, at least from the perspective of Bomber fans, and here's why. While this is going to be a sold-out stadium, it's going to be a ton of fun, everybody loves this game, it's going to be a party. Boy, doesn't it seem a little anticlimactic, though, after the Bomber win last week? Of course, it's been the Labor Day games that the Bombers have struggled most in against the Riders, right? They hadn't won since 2004, so to finally shake that monkey off their back was such a huge win for the Bombers. Nothing would feel better, don't get me wrong, than to hang another one on the Riders here. And boy, it's big in the West Division standings too. This is going to be a dogfight, this West Division standings, right till the end, I think. So every win counts, but you know, all too often in the last few years, it's almost like the Banjo Bowl's been the Bombers' Grey Cup, right? It was the one thing, if they could at least win that game, no matter how bad the rest of the season was, everybody could kind of have sort of a good feeling. That's not the case this year. Big win last week, and this team has a lot bigger plans than just beating the Riders in the Banjo Bowl.
Now, just go off, I'm just going to ad lib here and go off on a little bit of tangent. You're not going to be here for the game. I just want to mention, folks, that Paul is leaving tomorrow to go cover the World Cup of Hockey. Do you want to say anything about that today? Is this event as exciting as we hope it to be? You
know what? Put 6 guys in Team Canada uniforms and throw a puck on a piece of ice, and Canadians are going to watch. They're always going to watch that. Is it the Olympics? No, I don't think so. I mean, there's some contrivances there. This Team North America is kind of weird. Team Europe is a little bit strange. Paul Maurice is an assistant coach for Team Europe. So there are some kind of quirks, and in some ways this is kind of, you know, the NHL trying to shoehorn the realities of hockey geography into a World Cup format. So it's a bit goofy. But having said that, boy, these are the very best hockey players in the world. They're playing, it's hockey, it's September, it's Canada. It is going to be the biggest story, I think, in Canada for the next, well, almost 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. Well, we'll look forward to your reports. Paul will be in Washington and Pittsburgh and Ottawa and Montreal and Toronto covering the World Cup of Hockey. And we'll have
5 cities in 6 nights.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we'll have all of that for you in the Free Press and on our website. But back to the football. The Bombers play the Banjo Bowl here Saturday afternoon, folks, at 2 p.m. They're going for their 6th straight win. That's right, 6 straight, Paul.
Well, you know, and I mean, after a 1-4 start too, I mean, the Bombers are hands down, and I'm Captain Obvious here, the best story in the CFL right now. What a remarkable turnaround. This team I always thought was good enough. But boy, they had this head coach who was dialed in on Drew Willie. He wasn't letting that go. And they were going to, it looked like to me, they were going to ride the Drew Willie all the way to the ocean floor with this team this season. Mike O'Shea finally sees the light, brings in Matt Nichols, and everything is different since then.
Right on. That's it for us today, folks. We'll talk to you again next week.